Now for this is the washing step. The washing step is it's pretty easy, to be honest. All you need is some nice lukewarm hot water from the tap, and use some degreasing soap, like dish soap. This is probably the best one I've had because they degrease little baby ducks that get covered up in fucking whatever the fuck BP's pouring into the ocean. And this is, so far this has been pretty well. I mean, doing pretty good. Some resin I worked with, sometimes the soap isn't enough, so you have to get like resin fucking, like degreaser, like by Gaia, or even sometimes you gotta use industrial thinner to degrease some of this. But since this is a very well made resin model by Volks, I'm going to assume they didn't use that strong of like a grease release or some kind of bullshit, and I'm gonna trust my gut on them, and I'm gonna feel like this will be more than enough to fucking clean her up. So for this, obviously parts are not going to fit in here. I'm just going to put the smaller parts in here, so I know when I take them out to scrub them down after they soak overnight, I'm not going to lose anything. So, see ya. It's just that easy. See ya. So this step I usually do after I sand, but since I need to leave these overnight, I had a whole day to myself, and I really just wanted to work on Ray as much as I can. So this, I mean, it's fine with all the clipping and with all the pins in already and glued together. I'm not worried about anything that'll fuck with it. And for the most part, Ray went to get pretty easily because I used 2mm rods, and the bit I was using was a little smaller than 2mm, so she's held together pretty much by just fitting to fitting, perfectly fine. Nothing wrong. Pretty fucking nice, I'm not gonna lie. So we're back in my very green, as you can tell, my camera's picking up the fucking green walls. Really, like, I really don't know why my bathroom is green, painted green. It is what it is. It's whatever the fuck I'm renting. Alright, anyway, we're back here. I let the parts soak overnight. Let me show you. See if you can pick up. You can see a bunch of tiny little swimmies in here, huh? That means it did good. There's a ton of like residue just like floating around. That's what I wanted. I want it to be nice and clean. So what you do after this? You have a sink running with lukewarm water. You want to rinse this off, and when you're rinsing it off, you take a toothbrush, just the one you used, not the one you used in the morning, but a bullshit Dollar Tree fucking CVS bullshit fucking toothbrush, and you just have at it. You want to scrub each piece, man. Scrub each piece. You want to make sure all that oil and bullshit is fucking off this shit. Just give it a quick rinse and then bam, into this pile. Now this step is what I was mentioning earlier when it came to sanding the parts. When I was sanding this clear resin, I got a lot of scuff marks, and I said, you know what, I could skip over that. I'm just gonna paint over that. But you know what, I want to have this as shiny and as smooth as I possibly can. So I'll show you a little before and after example. So this is what the armor looks like after I sand it as much as I can and smooth it. See how that's still cloudy and you really can't see the details too much? Now this is after that process, what I'm about to show you, where it's back to like crystal clear. And with that, I'm sure you know what's coming. Bada bing, bada boom. How you doing? 1, 2, 3. These are the miracle workers for this type of shit. And you can really transfer this into doing anything. If you want to polish up any kind of thing. Anything. This can do it. So, it all starts off. Let's do... So, I'm only going to focus on the armor. The hair, I'm not gonna do a translucent hair. I think that's gonna look a little funky. I'm gonna do something maybe a little cloudy looking. So I'm gonna skip on the hair. Hair is good enough though. So I'm just gonna focus on the armor. So you see like all that. I'll do a nice big piece so you can see real well. So you see like all this cloudiness and everything. So let's get it going. So we're gonna start with this piece. This is as smooth as I can get it. It's actually finished off with 2000 grit. I have a nice smooth finish because this compound it's gonna cover up all these scratches. That was made from the 2000. So first things first, we want to take out the coarse. So get the little of course. I just fell asleep while sanding these parts. I'm fucking tired. Work killed me today, bud. The gym killed me today, bud. It was fucking brutal. So let's start with just the top half for now. Ah, fuck it, let's do the whole fucking thing. I do this because I don't, these got shipped from fucking Hong Kong. It actually took only like 3 business days to get here, which is nice. You don't need that much, to be honest. So now we're just gonna take a nice old rag, raggedy poo. We're gonna start rubbing it in. You're gonna start noticing immediate change. Immediate. Like just like that. Let's see if the camera can pick it up a little better. So you see how cloudy it is over here? You see that? It's already done, guys. It's already fucking done. But that's not the last step. These are your thumbs. Thumbs have more strength than any of your other fingers. I'm not too worried about down here because you see that big peg, I gotta try to hide that behind paint. So what I'm doing is gonna be a nice solid color up to here, and all this detail, that's what I want exposed. That's the shit. I want all that exposed. Alright. That's it for the course. On to the fine. Fine, just fine. Fine like that girl you saw at the bar the other day. So now we're gonna take out the fine. Fine, just fine. Alright. Let's do it. Now you're gonna see the difference between these two. You see how this is still a little cloudy and this is starting to clear up? And so that's with the fine. And to finish it, you need, obviously, the finish. Time to bust out the finish and finish this bitch up. Jesus. Oh man, what a day. What a day. See that? Look at that. The reason why this part is a little more cloudier than up here is because I'm not really polishing this flat surface back here because I don't really need to. I've been paying more attention up here because that's where I want the visible detail. This technique also works for like pretty much anything clear, or even if you want to buff out and make yeah, look at that. Look at that. Even if you want to like polish up some metallic paints, this is nice for it. Or even if you're building one of those Expo Clear Gundam kits, this would be pretty good for it. So let's take a look. There is your fine, and there is your finish. Now let's finish it off. So now you're going to need your finish compound again, and then you're going to need your piece that you plan on polishing. And now we're going to take a buffing wheel. So now I'm going to put it down here. Like so. So now this is the final result. Back to crystal clear. This is before the polishing, before the buffing wheel, and after the buffing wheel. Look at that. What a difference. What a difference. Yeah, that's how you do it. It's a process, but if you wanted to do, you know, how do I fucking say this? You gotta put the work in. Put the work in. It's gonna show when it's all said and done, and you're gonna really appreciate. You're really gonna enjoy. You're gonna really appreciate what you've done. All right, no shortcuts, no nothing. Put the work in. All right, that's my advice to you. Put the work in. You're gonna fucking like it. You're gonna like the way it looks. I guarantee it. I went by and finished with a wheel, so you can see a little better. You see, this is before the polish, the buffing wheel. This is after the buffing wheel. And after I just wiped it down with a nice soft cloth. See the difference, man? See it? And it's gonna look really good when I start painting it. No, it's gonna be perfectly smooth now. Thank God. I got one more step for this these clear parts before I start painting them. I was told by a professional in Korea. He told me to use Mr. Metal Primer on the clear parts to set as a good, you know, basically to prime the clear parts for paint. I've never tried this technique before, and I'm very curious. Usually I slap on a coat of clear gloss on it, just so it, you know, this way paint has something to go on to, instead of just going on the bare resin. So, I'm gonna give this a shot. With this stuff, you don't have to thin it down, just pour it in your airbrush. So, this is after we polished it. Let's take a look. Very nice. Okay. Alright, I see what he's saying. So this is after the metal primer is added, and I am loving the results. Nice and clean and ready to fucking go for some fucking painting. First step I'm gonna have to do is some hand painting all these veins and gross looking shit that's behind the armor. Then after that I can start going ahead with the clear paints. And we're back. This process now is, I had to glue this on together, and then when I glued it on, I had a big gap here, because the parts were an uneven fit. So That was a pretty simple fix. All I really did was glue it together, let it dry, and then I busted out some Milliput. Milliput is the best for this process, and I'm really trying, like, I had to show you guys how to do stuff, but it's fucking difficult. I don't know how these YouTubers fucking do this, and like I wish I should have fucking recorded it, showed you guys. I just filled that up because there's a nice big gap there. I filled that all up back and forth, and like I had an area where there was a gap here on her by her thigh, by the little V area by her leg. I had to put some putty in there, so now I don't have a open space for that. But yeah, that's simple. This shit, I'm gonna let this cure overnight, and then I'll be able to hit this up again. So yeah, get the putty. You need the putty to do the fucking fixing.